There's this timeless legend about how God was attempting to guide humanity in God's wisdom to live rightly and peacefully on earth as God had created it. And God grew frustrated because humanity would often fail. It would turn on each other and bring evil into the world, or just tragically lose their way. And so God decided, I know what I will do. I will make this great and grand library complete with all of the teachings of divine and heavenly wisdom, so that it will always be available for humankind when they need it. And after millennia of work, this great and grand library, full of every tome and every thought and idea of how God had created us to live, was complete. And it was huge, too huge, in fact, that no human being could ever read through one wing of it, much less the entire library in the limited amount of time we get to do so. And it was ineffective. And so God decided again what to do. And he decreed that this great and grand library should be condensed down into one tome, one single work, where all of the wisdom of the divine should be found. The problem is, when this tome was finished, it was so massive and heavy, they could barely lift it, much less read through it. And so once again, God had to think what to do. And God decreed that he would further condense this wisdom down into one pamphlet easy to distribute, easy to read, that all humankind should have access to whenever they needed to. But people were lazy. And people were thoughtless. Some didn't even make it through the pamphlet or just tossed it aside without reading. And a lot of people could not read, meaning that this stayed inaccessible to them. And so God thought once more about what to do to guide humanity into the right way of living. And God decided to condense this library into a book, this book into a pamphlet, and finally to condense down this pamphlet into just one word. And that one word was love. We could spend all day here talking about the teachings, the creeds, the history, the songs, the beliefs, the articles of faith of the Christian faith, all of the church fathers and mothers and all of their writings. And we could be talking until either you fall asleep or your phone battery dies, whichever comes first. And we might be no closer to God's will for us to live rightly and in right relationship with one another. But in all the things that we do, what motivates us to do it? What motivates us to live like followers of Christ? What informs that? It's love for others. What motivates us to go into the fields of work that we choose? It's love. What should shape our parenting, our classwork, our identity as students, friends, teachers, workers? It's all love. Jesus gets down into this when the teacher of the law, seeking to test Jesus, asks him, "What's the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus answers him in Matthew 23. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the second commandment is just like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the language in which your neighbors will hear, see, receive, and understand the message of God, the gospel for humanity. They will not understand it in our books. They will not appreciate it in our wisdom and in our speeches. They will not even see it in our beliefs that we carry around in our little precious heart of hearts. But should we translate it into love, tangible love, that is what will change the world. So may God's love through you today and tomorrow and every day hereafter motivate you to be faithful, to be good, to give of yourself, to believe in a world that is bigger than your own wants and desires, to help you to stir up trouble where trouble needs to be stirred up, to call our attention to injustice where injustices need to be outed and justice needs to reign. May your love motivate you in everything that you do. And maybe, just maybe, we will see the kingdom of God come in its fullness. Go in peace. Take care.